it felt right. There were no counterindications. There was nothing. It was exactly what I wanted, money-wise, company-wise, size of the company-wise, the way the people I'll be working with. I mean,
Mhm.
it just felt right. So as far as aligning with it, I was very aligned, and it just shows you that it's not really always true. So, um,
Well, but for some reason, for some for some reason, it wasn't a fit.
yeah, I know, but if it's something that's in my at least on my end, I aligned as much as I could. I mean, we could,
No,
you know.
it doesn't matter what it is. Okay, what matters is what you learn from it, and
Yeah,
what you learned from it were all the pieces and the energy of what you're really looking for. You got a tremendous amount of clarity with that. Is that correct?
I did. Yes. I haven't seen any company like this before though.
Hmm.
So I don't know if
So
the
we want to.
clarity actually is helpful as much
We're going to
as.
talk about that because that's there's where you want to put your focus is on that energy,
Hmm.
right? Because that will attract in that company. Ronnie, how are you, buddy? Are you driving the bus today?
Good, good. Just on my way back from work.
Uh-huh.
Left a bit early.
Uh-huh.
Good. Can't
How was
complain.
how was your conference?
Absolutely amazing. Really, really good. Um, connected with like over 20 people that I got their contact information. Um, everyone, kind of shared similar stories, and I felt like it was my first time in like ever going to a conference and feeling like not that I made it, but like
You
that.
belonged.
Exactly. Exactly.
Hmm. That's amazing.
What made you feel like you belonged?
Um, just the magnitude of FIFA, just saying that I'm collaborating with FIFA, but I feel like saying that I go to schools hit people to the core. So like a lot, it's like people's soft spot is youth empowerment and just I felt like the moment I would say what I do and my mission going into schools and trying to impact these kids, it's like yeah, people would automatically like get connected to me or ask like, how can I get involved? I love what you're doing. Keep it up. That's so inspiring. So the feedback with that was really touching.
Great. Great. Jamie, how are you? You're muted, Jamie.
There we go.
There you are.
Sorry.
No problem.
No, it always takes a few windows on my phone to like get to it for me. Um, yeah, I'm pretty good.
Hmm. What's new?
Just going about my day. Trying to challenging morning, but um, yeah. So now I'm just making my way through it, one thing to the next.
Hmm. Hmm. What what was challenging?
Um, I just had a an issue with my payment processor. Um,
Uh,
yeah. So it's definitely uh an issue right now, and I'm gonna have it's like really challenging. So I'm gonna have to be patient and hopefully and just see what happens.
Mhm. Is there anyone else around you can reach out to get advice on that?
Well, yeah, I'm getting like I'm on support with both school and Stripe, and they're and seeing what's going on, what can be done, and all that. But it's just a little bit like it's just tough. Like emotionally, it's pretty tough, just because I'm just trying to, it's just a good learning lesson for me with going about things and being detached from money and just letting, just being here to get clear
Yeah.
and manage things.
Is
But
this
it's a lot of money, and and it's a big issue right now. So we'll see what
is
happens.
this similar to the issue you had in the past with large
Yeah,
sales?
yeah, it's the same issue, but different, but way different, because it's there's a lot more behind it now with um there's a foundation behind it, so it'll be fine, and I'll just have to like pivot and figure it out. But it definitely messes with a flow,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I'm just trying to avoid, basically, well, I don't know what I'm not trying to avoid anything. I'm just gonna let things happen the way they need to happen and keep moving on. That's what it comes down to, because it's out of my control. So um
Are you asking for support from your spirit guides on this?
right now, I was just honestly, yeah, I mean, I just been getting through my morning and just trying to like not, it's been like really,
Not melt down.
yeah. Yeah, I'm like, I just been like walking, and then and it kind of got my head straightened out, and now I'm good and just moving forward. But yeah, I'm not, yeah. It's not like a small, I guess
No, I
I'm
get
trying
it.
to see it as a small thing, but and and just going through everything that I'm really like, that I have, and that I'm grateful for, and to just move forward and not let it like, if it puts me back, uh, it might put me back a big, a few steps, but I can keep building, so it's fine.
Um,
And maybe it'll all be okay too, but it kind of is it wakes me up a little bit, and it humbles me for sure. So, and makes me realize
yeah,
how attached I am to money. I've just been so
yeah,
focused on it this year that it's, you know,
yeah. I was going to ask how you created that, right? Like, in other words, how is it that you created the situation?
yeah,
If you took full responsibility for it, and I think that you've just spoke
yeah,
a little bit about your attachment to money and your focus on it. Um, so there's something in the energy in that where the learning is. Does that make sense?
yeah, yeah. It makes me realize too that what got me here with where I'm at now is being detached and trusting, and then I'm realizing how I'm getting attached again and not trusting, because
Yeah,
it puts
yeah.
it
There you
all in.
go.
Yeah, so it's kind of the next level of like, are you sure you're, like, it's just a learning thing, and I'm like, oh, okay, look at all these things I've created outside of that, and I have like relationships and so much good value and energy, and that stuff's priceless, and it's not going anywhere. So
Right.
it's just like, these are like, this is just like business. This happens, and you just gotta like
But
let
this
the
isn't.
chips fall and move on and figure out
This only
another
deal.
solution.
Yeah, this only deals with the flow of money, not the loss of money. Is that correct?
No, it's both really, because I might have to refund, you know there might be like right now, as of right now, their system's like going to just refund everybody, and so that's just what the system triggered. So it's like, hopefully humans can get involved and be and sort it out, or
Wow.
but yeah, it's $25,000 in refunds, so we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just like, but it's also only like you know, it's only one of, there's other, I have another channel too, so I'm still flowing, like everything's good, but it just is kind of like, it's not, it's just business stuff that I don't know, it's one of those things that happens and you're like, um, it's just kind of interesting. I have to just kind of be patient and see how things shake out. And maybe, you know, and just see what happens, I guess, you know?
Well, call in some spirit guide help on it. And you want to really look at where you're responsible for having created it
Yeah.
and what can be done differently. It will get resolved. And I love your position on it.
Yeah. And if that is the case, it goes back to all the people that want to give it back to me as well, because they don't want it. They, you know, that's the other thing is there's ways to work it all out and I just
Right.
have to get set up on a different, you know, I mean, it's going to be okay regardless. And it might just be totally fine, but it was definitely, I have like emotions from it from the past because
Yeah.
this is what, and I think that's the
Right.
problem. Whereas like, I probably would have just been like, oh, let's just call support and figure this out and see what this seems wrong. Like, let's just work through it. But I have all this like past.
You started reliving the old energy.
I did. Yeah. Like hard. I'm like, wait a second. This wasn't supposed to, I wasn't supposed to like deal with this again.
Yeah.
This is what put me, you know, at zero from, you know, the last 2 or 3 years of being involved with payment processors. So, so this is a whole new
Well,
animal, though. It's different than before. So, but I have emotions from it. So that's what I'm
I'm so
feeling.
well, this is good.
I'm like, oh my God.
You get to cure those and really look at those and make a different choice.
Yeah.
But I'm getting strongly you want to speak to other people who also deal with these payment processors in the levels you've been and that they can give you some support. Let your spirit guides come in. Get my dad. He'll help you get it straightened out. It'll work itself out. You know, this stuff happens. I've got another client. They
Yeah.
bought a business. They bought a website with 150,000 subscribers on it. And before they bought it, they paid like $500,000 for it. Maybe even a little more than that. And
Yeah.
before they bought it, they had the people they bought it from send out to the list to see how strong the list was. And they did a mailing and they got like a 34% response on the list, which was pretty strong, you know. There's almost 50,000 people. So it all looked good. And then they bought it and they moved it over. But when they moved it over, he didn't have the capacity to send the emails because the emails were coming from a different server and he got shut down.
Oh, when he moved it over. Yeah.
Yeah.
And has to switch, get the entire customer base over to a whole new system or whatever.
And it got red flagged.
Yeah.
And so now he's slowly been building it back up over the last 6 months, but has also been renegotiating with the company they bought it from because they're unable to generate the revenue that they thought they were going to because of that, because of not knowing that. There's always stuff out there that, you know,
Yeah.
there's always glitches.
Yeah. Always. Yeah. It's humbling, but it's good. It's supposed to be like everyone goes through like these things. And you know, I'll probably, you know, if I where I it continue to build, and then at some point this will be the same, you know, another problem, but it'll be 10 times as much, maybe, you know. So it's really just how I handle it. But I'm just trying to be honest too. Like I haven't had
Mhm.
a morning like this in a long time. It was definitely really challenging, you know. Like
Yeah.
it was
Another
hard to
thing,
work and stuff. I had to just go walk.
yes. Well, that's smart. You're taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
Does anybody else have a Any input for Jamie on this? Scott, Stanford, or Ronnie?
No, I've seen this happen before and it really, really sucks. I'm sorry you have to go through this. This is a pain for sure. I know PayPal was really good at this before, blocking things and also doing refunds. And you would think that Stripe would be better, but I guess not. Hopefully it gets resolved
Banks
really
are
fast.
banks. Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully it gets resolved.
Yeah, well, yeah, I was thinking too, I'm like, well, if everyone gets refunded and I'm, my business still builds and flows. It's just a matter of like, there'll be a little bit of a pivot here, and then at least it goes back to all my people, and that, it's not like,
These are people
they
that are
don't want
still
their money
engaged with
back.
you.
Yeah,
Right.
they're like, exactly. So, and this is my other group that only has 100 and something in it. So it's really not, it's not like,
It's not your big group.
it's not the big group, but also it just creates one of those things too, because it's still the same account. So I'm like, well, it's still the same Stripe account, so it could happen to the other one too. But it's just confusing. I just need to get clarity on what's going on, and it hasn't happened yet. But that's just what the system is like on its way to do. So, and the school support's really helping with, like, they're like talking to their partners. They're like, this is a serious issue. We're talking to our head
Well,
guys at
other people
Stripe
must
about
be
this and whatnot.
experiencing it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not special here. I'm sure this is, happens for sure, obviously. And we'll see, but I'm just looking at it at like, why, like, more so about like, what is this kind of lesson for me, and not feeling, I'm just trying to go like, how do I not be a victim at all and just go and rise, but it took a second to pick myself off the, floor this
Oh,
morning.
yeah,
So,
sure.
because
Yeah.
it's like it was a bit of a, like, yeah, it's just kind of that flow and that cash flow. And it's like, it's one thing if it's frozen, but it's another thing if it's gone too. So, and I just have
Right.
to keep moving forward, but it's still fine. And my momentum alone is already, even without it, is like, it's fine. It's just one or 2 weeks, of revenue. So
Well, you're playing at a new level. I love all the things you're saying about how you've handled it. Ronnie, do you have any comments on this?
I would say he's doing all the right things. One thing I've learned is that it's allowed to feel, and sometimes we have to be honest as we try to suppress like anger or sadness or anxiety or disappointment. And it's okay to take a moment and like acknowledge how you're feeling. And even if it's, not necessarily the most positive feeling, but once you acknowledge it, at least you know what step you can take to overcome it. And I feel like he's doing that. He acknowledged, that it was a rough morning and he's taking a walk. And like you said, he's taking care of himself. And now he's trying to look above the situation. So, and I know it's going to get handled because he's handling it very positively. So with that attitude and, I feel like things are just going to work out hopefully sooner than later.
yeah, that helps to hear that, Ronnie. It just really reminds me of, like, the best thing I can do for myself is detach from money, like, today, like, as much as I can, and just look at everything else. Look at everything else there is that you have in the world, and that I'm focused on, and all the great things. I mean, because if I don't do that, I'm gonna have a really bad day if I'm just thinking about dollars right now.
Yeah, no, I know
Yeah.
what you
But I'm not complaining either. I'm like super grateful that, I mean, none of this existed not long ago. So I'm super grateful, but I think I'm struck hard because I went through years of dealing these are things that I kind of have some emotions attached to over the years of some of these other
It's
e-commerce businesses that I've not lost, but just have frozen, or the banks take away, a lot of money, hundreds of thousands, and like PayPal, all that. Um, but it was created. It came out of nowhere, so I can keep creating it always, you know.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Anything else, Stanford, from your side on this?
No, I just like the attempt at attachment. I think that's a healthy response. Because otherwise one would get really crazy thinking about all of this. I think I've had that before.
Yeah, doesn't it? It really makes me realize how, like, when you build yourself, I mean, building happiness on money and wealth and in that aspect, and then and then seeing how much, you know, financial things, like, you know, so it's just a good test. It really puts you to see how much you really are detached or not, you know. um and it's really
Yeah.
good to be detached. I think that's what's created a lot of the that is what's created a lot of the abundance in the first place, is being okay with or without it, you know? And just managing it and not taking ownership of it, like it's your like not taking ownership of it, like this is me, you know, this is a part of me, and just instead it's here to be managed and go where it needs to go and keep flowing where it needs to flow, and I'm here to just like be a part of that energy and not take ownership of it, like this is mine. You're taking stuff from me, you know, because none of it was really, you know, it's still, a lot of it hasn't even made it into my accounts anyways, but they're also just accounts. They're going to go in and out anyways. So um I'm just, it makes me reflect on the work I'm doing and the value and the relationships and the stuff that can't be paid for, you know, and that stuff is not going anywhere. So
So say a little bit more about that,
well,
because
before it was like just product or whatever, and you're just selling, you know, or you're a
oh, I
middle. I was like a
see.
middleman, and it's just kind of, there's no, but I've been building relationships with people and adding value, and adding value, and creating things, and that's different than just kind of being involved in a transaction and then growing a business for numbers. And then having to start over if that's like, if something happens with that or it takes a wrong turn. This is just like different because, you know, I have like,
Yeah, the
I have
community.
I have a community. Yeah, community is strong. Like that's not going anywhere, and anyone will go wherever I go, you know. Well, you know, not everybody, but like majority of them, you have, it's built on value. So
Mm-hmm.
so
Mm-hmm.
you know, it makes the currency pretty much just like um fleeting, I guess, you know. It can,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
you can create more of it like quickly from it if needed. It's just, yeah.
Yeah. But you really want to look at how you created it in your relationship with money with this. Um, and
Yeah.
your response to it getting caught up in the old and then immediately kind of stepping out of it and having the opportunity. This is a tremendous growth step for you around money. What, Stanford, do you see any similarities in what he's going through with what you're going through?
I mean, yeah, I mean the effort that was put into creating something and going towards something and not having it turn out as smooth as you wanted to. Yeah, I could totally see that.
Say a little bit more about that.
Well, I mean, before I think you and Jamie, I was talking about the interview that I
Uh-huh.
had, and then I got a denial for it because it was the nicest denial I've had ever, really. And I think they actually meant it, but like I really aligned with this job and the people and the company, and it was just like a perfect match, I think. But they just basically said that they were just further along in the process with a few other people, and so they're
Mhm.
like on the final stages with others, and you know, um, but like they wanted to work with me. Everybody enjoyed me. Even the recruiter wanted to already work with me. Like it was just seriously the nicest thing I've heard. Um, and but that kind of got me too. I was really hoping for something nice to happen, but it just
Yeah.
That can make it feel a little more confusing at first as well, rather than just them just being like, we didn't really, we weren't really into where you're at or whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, because then you're
Yeah.
like, wait a
But
second.
it always kind of always shows you that like you could be the perfect person for them, but like somebody might just have something else, like just like maybe a certification of sorts, or they've had the experience in the field that they're in, like just
Yeah,
that little thing would make a difference. And so I didn't really fully take it personally, which is nice, but it did kind of kick the wind out of
sting.
me.
Yeah,
So
I understand that feeling.
yeah,
So
so.
what were the things that you liked about this?
Everybody that I talked to in that company was centered, they were kind, they were knowledgeable in their field, not full of themselves. They actually paid attention to me speaking. There wasn't like an array of stupid questions that they found somewhere,
Hmm.
from some HR guide. The recruiter was immensely responsive, even though, she had all these people to talk to. I mean, she called me ahead of time for one of the interviews, the first interview, and told me like what to talk about and etc. And then she like continuously kept in touch when she promised
Did the
something.
recruiter work for the company or is it
Yeah, for the
independent
company,
recruiter?
for the company. Yeah. And like everybody was just freaking terrific. I was flabbergasted in comparison to what I had like yesterday as far as interviews and today. I mean, that was the perfect place because these past few ones were like the manager didn't came in, didn't know what the hell he was talking about, didn't even prepare any meeting notes or questions. This other company, that I interviewed in San Francisco, the manager said, "Oh, I took bad notes on our first meeting. So today,
Right. I remember you saying that.
and then yesterday, another recruiter I talked to, and she's like, uh-huh, uh-huh, uh-huh. Okay. Well, I'll talk to the manager. Like, are you serious? Like, so yeah, it just everything feels pretty wrong, but this company didn't feel wrong at all. And it's something I would strive for to be. And I was like super nice about the rejection letter, etc. But I also made sure that they know that it felt shitty. So because they're such a great company and such a good experience with them. So um, you know, it's it's what it is, but I'm still not happy about it. So, but
So,
it is nice to know that there is some place out there that has kind of what I want, as far as
well,
people
this
goes.
is this is where I'm going with this.
Hmm.
Number one, the recruiter. Would you send her a note? What's her name?
Darlene.
Would you send her a note and say, first of all, I want to thank you for all your time and consideration. I really appreciate it. But secondly, I want to express my disappointment. Uh, and I'm wondering if you know of any other companies that I should speak to that might have the same qualities as yours.
That's a good question. Hmm.
Just it's just thank her for her assistance. Don't be afraid to say, I was really disappointed that I didn't get it. Things can change, okay?
Hmm.
Things can
Well, they told
change.
me that if I mean, now that this companies like to do this as a kind of not making people feel bad, they tell you that we'll keep your resume on file, etc. But it's all a bunch of horse crap. They don't refer back to any resume. But in this case, it's different. I think she actually said when the team grows, and we're gonna have more openings. We will definitely reach out to you because you're. I mean, reality is that 400 plus people applied, and I was one of the 7 people that they interviewed. So
Mhm.
it was quite competitive.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Just keep that communication going with her and ask her that.
mhm,
People know people.
yeah, yeah,
And you really one of the things you can do, in fact, Jamie, I want to talk to you about how you're going to change your writing in the morning if you are going to change it at all because of what's happened to but is to sit down in the morning, Stas, and journal about all the things you liked about this. You want
mm-hmm,
to stay in that energy because the energy exists other places.
mm-hmm,
And you really want to keep your energy there to attract that in.
mm-hmm. I think I just have an issue with being able to keep in that energy after, you know,
Oh, I get it.
after such a punch, because it does feel like a punch, and
Yep.
it's difficult when you actually need this, frankly, badly. It's a very different experience than just like, oh, okay, well, next, it's a little bit different.
Uh-huh.
So,
I realized, and with that being said, it's like Jamie going for a walk and then changing his energy. Um, it's it's all up to you.
mhm,
Yeah. I want to touch on that really quick because I was like, I was, I'm usually pretty good at that, and then just like keeping maintaining and whatnot. But it was really difficult to just go on a walk. Honestly, is the last thing I wanted to do. I was like, so I just felt, I felt like everything just like the sky fall for a little bit there, and I was like, and then I just did anyways, and it took a bit, but then I was like a mile into it, and everything corrected itself pretty fast. And now all of a sudden it's the problem went from 100% down to like 5%.
mhm,
I honestly let go of it completely, and it kind of freed me because I felt so like Stanford, maybe you're like taking ownership of getting a job right now and making that so much of yourself. And so
yeah,
when that doesn't happen, it was the same for me. I was just like, I'm after these goals financially. I'm after these goals. And I felt like, for a moment there, it felt like all my work that I've been spending hours and hours for the last 4 months was just like taken from me. And I'm right back to like, you know, the start
yeah,
again. Um, yeah, but yeah, so the walk thing was not, well, what I'm saying is like, it sounds so stupid. It really did at the time. And it still, but it, it's just in the moment, it just sounds like it's like, you're like, I don't, it's the last thing I give a shit about. It's taking a freaking walk, but I just did anyways. And it like,
Yeah.
and now I'm like, I honestly just like I'm coming over the top of it now. And just looking at it, like if this is the way it pans out for now, I'm just gonna be grateful for it. And that's it. I'm gonna say thank you for this lesson, like whatever it means. And let's keep going. Let's keep making myself feel
You
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 know,
you hit that space,
good.
when when I lost all the oil in my engine and I was in Oklahoma, I'm like, oh my God, am I gonna be stuck in Oklahoma City? I gotta buy a new car here, because that's and you've got to be able to back out of the energy and understand that it's not supportive. And what's the best thing you can do in the situation That's what's important. Ronnie, what do you have to say to Stanford? You went through this. You
Um,
had 2 or 3 jobs you thought you were going to
yeah,
get that.
a lot of jobs. Yeah, there was one job where my former manager became the manager of that new company, and I was kind of like, man, I worked with him before. We have a great relationship. He's written me a reference letter, so I was like, yeah, I definitely got this, and I didn't get it. And with my current job, as you know, as much as I make it seem like, it just aligned perfectly, like I had to be persistent. Like we spoke, my first conversation with them was in November of 2022, and I didn't start working for them until January of 2024. So almost 13 months of just constant, hey, how you doing? Hope you guys are good. So I feel like they probably could have gone another way, but I kept nudging them so much that eventually they're like, oh, wow, okay, well, this guy's been messaging us for a year. And then as far as finance goes, similar to what Jamie said, like, um, and as Jamie was talking, I just thought of something. I was just like, man, just seeing him around Sun and his energy recently. And I remembered his energy a few months ago when the wildfire was happening in LA. And when shit like that happens, it makes you kind of think like, man, if you could put clothes on your back, if you could feed yourself, if you have a bed to sleep in, like you're good, you know? Not to say like everything's good. If financially, obviously, we put a lot of pressure on that, but just to say, like, it could be worse. I know those aren't always the best words, but it could really be
It's
worse.
true.
And what Bill used to always tell me is just like the fact that is to kind of channel that energy, and the fact that you got 7 out of 400 applicants. I think that's something to hold your head high on, and that should show you that you're way closer than you are now than you were like I don't know a few months ago. And that energy that you saw, I feel like you'll just keep attracting it. And that's what happened to me. Like all those rejections from companies that I dreamed of working for. Eventually I was just building that energy of like a big, wonderful sport organization, not even thinking about Sport Canada, and then, just consistently hitting them up. I guess it was like a mutual appreciation, and it fit at the right time, but I always tell people like, the universe timing doesn't disappoint. There's a lot of things that have happened in my life where I'm just like, man, if God gave me this even 2 or 3 months ago, I wouldn't be able to handle this. So I feel like, yeah, the best thing you can do is just keep feeding that energy, keep working on yourself, ask for feedback. And if you really, really love them, keep nudging them because you were one of seven. So, turnovers happen, people leave, so keep nudging them, and you never know what could happen. But yeah, I think you're closer than once you were. And as far as money goes, I feel like we'll always have money problems even when we're millionaires, So it's something to like Jamie said, to not be attached to it, and count your blessing and just keep feeding that energy.
Yeah, listen to what this guy says. It's pretty amazing. You've grown so much, Ronnie. It's just
Thank you, Bill.
really, yeah, it's really something to hear you speak. It's very touching, very
Appreciate
touching.
it.
You mentioned the wildfires, and I was just on a call with a woman who had interviewed me on her podcast, and then she did. In fact, I may have sent you guys the link. She edited the podcast, and she edited it so well. She sent me a link after it was edited. I started listening to it. She edited it so well. I listened to the whole podcast. I listened to myself, which I never do. Like I hate doing it, because it's like it's kind of the past, and I don't go in and evaluate it because I'm really speaking from what I know to be truth in the heart. But anyways, so I got in touch with her and said, "Yeah, I want to speak to you further." And we're in conversation now. She lost her home. She was on a spiritual retreat in Costa Rica doing ayahuasca when and got married in Costa Rica. And the house that her and her new husband lived in burned down in the LA fires while they were in Costa Rica. So they came home to nothing. And anyways, she and I have been talking, and we're looking at doing a collaboration for CEOs. This this is uh, this is a big deal. It's a very, very big deal. And we just said we had a nice conversation today. We talked more about it, but I have no attachment to it. It's just do what's right. I'm going to do what's right. We'll continue the conversations. We'll see where it goes. I'm not going to force it. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Uh, just going to we each have tremendous strengths in different areas, and it's funny because when we finished speaking today, I just said, "Yeah, I'll get on your calendar again for the end of next week sometime. Let's just talk more and see where it goes." So there's no plan. There's no pushing it. And we'll see if it's meant to be, it'll be. That's the way it works. But it's staying detached and it's really holding that energetic space and then being responsible. And like you said, Ronnie, for Stanford, 7 out of 400, it really speaks to the value and who you are. And the thing you want to do is keep amplifying. And you can do that through journaling in the morning, amplifying that and getting that out in the universe and attracting in uh, the right place. And it happens like Ronnie was saying, and like I said, hey, drop her a note and say this. And just see what happens with that. You just uh you're on the hunt. You're on the track now. You know what it is, and you know what it isn't.
Yeah.
Um and but it's all about the energy. As difficult as it is when these things hit, it's like what Jamie today you did today, Jamie, is incredible. I mean, it's kudos to you. The situation still exists, but you're different. And you said you said now it's 5% of instead of 100%. Like that's huge.
Yeah,
That's
honestly.
powerful.
Yeah. No, and before I was like, for a moment there, I just felt that there's no way out of anything. It's, but now I'm also like realizing some other things too, that I think I needed. Well, I know I needed, obviously, when it comes to like the things I've been learning about finances
Mm-hmm.
from my whole past, and the whole idea of like nothing's like certain, and also budgeting and all that takes place on the money you actually have. And not like there were like there were some things I would have done, some actions I would have taken in the last 3 weeks based on money that I saw coming, that I said no to. um a ton of things, that shiny objects that came at me, and I said no, and to this big things, little things, everything. And I'm like, no, I'm just running what's in my pocket, and that this is what's real, and this is what's honest. And if I had done said yes to a lot of those things, I would have been really, it just would have been a lot. Today, this morning would have been even a lot scarier, it was just so, you know, this is part of the process. This is part of me changing my whole
Part of learning.
paradigm with
Yeah.
finances.
Yeah.
And yeah, and
You
it's good. I'm just taking it as a lesson and just keep moving on, keep moving forward.
you should be proud of the choices that you're making. You're
Yeah.
setting a good example, not only for yourself, but everybody else.
Yeah, and
And then
honestly, I'm
you know,
too busy building all this good stuff to even let this slow me down. That's honestly how I feel, you know.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier to say now than it was this morning, but yeah, it's like,
but it's the truth,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah, what am I gonna do?
right?
Mm-hmm. I started the
It's not
school
I.
thing too. But I'm still kind of preparing a bunch of things because it's a little bit different from what you're making, but I'm seeing what I can make with this. So we'll see.
I
What are you
mean,
doing there?
you'll
Yeah,
say
good
thank you.
Stanford.
You'll be so grateful, Stanford, soon.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be like, thank God I didn't get that job.
Mm-hmm. Hey, here's open. I mean, here's open in general. And
Yeah.
I'm building out the IT thing, kind of like a um, some courseware for like startup founders and small companies and how to create structure for their company for technology, like some stuff on AI, compliance, things like
Hmm.
that. But I'm creating the like the worksheets right now and some of the courseware. So we'll see.
And one thing I wanted to say, Stanford, is this guy. I just watched this thing on the school news.
Mm,
Um, the school games, the last one, the winner, of the tech space,
mm,
that did like the most MRR in the quarter or whatnot.
mm,
His whole group is landing people jobs in cybersecurity or IT.
mm.
That's his entire group, is how to land those jobs. And I thought of you when I was watching, because I watched his whole like kind of little talk that he did about what
Mhm.
his group is or whatnot. And I'm like, this is exactly what Stanford's like dealing with right now. You know, someone in that space that knows so much, but like apparently it's like really, it's a weird thing, right? It's difficult to get the job because it's like the experience and the job have to go like, can't get, you have the experience or you don't have it and you have to get it and all that. I don't know. But I'm
It's
like,
nuts how it
yeah,
works. It's who you
yeah.
know and then and what you know, and sometimes it doesn't matter. It just it's all over the place right now, and especially with how all these huge tech companies are coming out and saying we're doing AI hires first or AI first before we hire somebody. We already have about a third or fourth big company come out and say that. It's and then
Whatever that
flattening
means.
out of
Yeah.
structures of management, like Microsoft's getting rid of middle management
Mhm.
very quickly, and a bunch of other companies doing the same. It's all bullshit because you still need the same people. They're just taking away the titles and they don't really pay the money.
Yeah.
So it's a tumultuous time to be in tech,
Well,
but
this
it's
guy,
also
I'll send
created
you the
by them.
link.
So
Yeah. I'll just send you a link. You could like watch his like
yes,
whatever his
please, that'd
deal
be
is.
great.
Yeah, I'll put it right here in the chat because
Yeah,
it was straight up just for landing jobs in the IT space is what it seemed like. That's like what he, and then he was,
amazing.
his community obviously is, yeah, that's what it was. That's exactly what it's for. And it's the biggest one in the tech space in on schools.
Crazy.
So yeah,
That's crazy.
I'll send it over.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
See the way this stuff happens, Stanford?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you, the thing I'm most excited about is that you have such clarity about what it is you're going to have and what you're creating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
You
it took
will
a while to
create
get
it.
there.
Yeah, you have tremendous clarity with that now.
Mm-hmm. But also gives me a kind of clarity around what I would want in a company, what I
Right.
want, because it's, again, these are this company specifically, it's only what I saw on the surface and a bit deeper, but I didn't see anything else. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, so I don't know how the rest of the company functions, but from what I saw from the higher leadership, I'm like, yeah, these are actual individuals. They care about stuff. They care about their
Hmm.
product. They care about their people. It seems like they're very human, as opposed to what I see on whenever I do other interviews, which is just jarring. Yeah, so it's nice. That's kind of how I want. And everybody asks like, well, why are you looking for a job basically because you have your own company, etc. And that's an interesting one to navigate because they see it as a negative many ways. And if I was running a company, I'd be like, yeah, it's not a negative. It's like it's amazing that this person knows what to do and knows enough to create his own thing and is running it. And now that he's looking for this thing, and if he's committing to me, I'd rather have that person. Like, no brainer. But people are weird about it. So
Uh-huh. Yeah. Have you been to any more tech meetups and stuff and startup
yeah,
kind of
there's one
groups
coming
or
up. There's one coming up here in the Portland area soon. And yeah, so that one's coming on the 15th. I'm going to one.
how about online? Have you checked out anything that's online? Any
To tell you the truth, the ones that I go for the stuff I want, they're kind of useless. A lot of them are just product placements for big companies, and then from time to time you get to talk to somebody. It's a, it's not as fruitful. This startup company that I joined, starts like startups.com or startup.com, that was more fruitful because they actually are specifically geared towards like creating your own company and talking to other people. But they also cost money, and it's not a small amount of money on each month, so I can't really sustain that right now. So I'm not that I had to pause that. So I'm switching to more local stuff that I can actually go to. And
uh-huh.
then, but then again, Portland's not known for anything really aside from weird people. So I really have to be going to like planning ahead and going to something in like San Francisco area. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's again allowing, trusting that the information will come in. Um, and also when you get information like this, I don't know, Jamie put that information in the chat for you. You probably got it, but
I saw that. Thank you, Jamie.
is what are the positive aspects of that when you check it out, right? Like many times, because of how you feel, you get into, the disqualification. And that's what Jamie got away from today when he went for that walk. He's like, I've got to change my energy, which was totally smart because his perception of the whole situation now has completely changed.
Hmm.
He's focused on the positives in his life. There's always things to be grateful for. And that situation still exists.
Hmm.
And that situation is going to go away at some point. And if he doesn't stand up and look at it responsibly, it will go away without him reaping the best lessons he can out of it, which is critical because there's lessons in everything. So I really get how difficult it is. And at the same time, it's about the energy. I know, I'm sure everybody gets sick of me hearing me say that. Um, and it's also about turning the situation over. Have you considered that at all? I don't know where you're at as far as spirituality is concerned.
Who, me?
Yeah.
In what sense?
In giving the problem to a power greater than yourself.
Mm, I mean, it seems like for me, it's already that. It's already handed over, and whatever I get to go for and whatever the job I apply for example, or deal with finances, it's already in the hands of something else. I have zero control of anything really in life. It just stuff happens and that's it. And the only thing I can
Hmm.
do is, you know,
What what are
listen
the
and
things in your
fulfill.
life going what are the things in your life going on in your life that you're grateful for now?
Well, my relationship for sure. I mean, that's a big thing. And
Uh-huh.
it's kind of what's keeping
In
me
what
together.
way?
It's keeping me together, frankly. I mean, that's really what it is. Otherwise, on my own, this would have been a total disaster. Um, Spirituality aside, all the wishful thinking aside, and it just would have been what it would have been. So
Hmm.
yeah, so it's really helpful. But no, frankly, I mean, aside from, being alive, all that, all the stuff, the typical stuff anybody could say, I mean, it is a big thing. Having health and stuff, it's really important because otherwise I wouldn't be able to go for anything for all the dreams that I have, and it's pretty great. Um, but that's kind of it. Right now it's one of those times of life that it's not easy because I have to do repairs to my house and I just can't afford that. And they need to happen, but I just can't do it. And it's all happening at the same time, and it's just not easy.
Hmm.
Easy to keep your head up when stuff is just, constantly kicking you in the head.
Yeah.
So,
And
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 everybody knows this here. So,
what are some ways that we can support you better?
to tell you the truth, I have no clue. I think just showing up for these meetings and talking about it and seeing how other people deal with stuff is just what's really um it's helpful. You know. Other than that, I don't know. I don't know. I think if everything is kind of up to me to put myself in the right mindset to like not get overwhelmed and just kind of take one thing at a time, which I'm already doing in the greater extent, but it's just I'm not always succeeding. Uh that's
Yeah. Yeah. It's it's look at you got to understand, Stanford, that how do I want to say it? That's the real part of it,
hmm
right? Like like I'm not down on you because of that.
hmm
But at the same time, we do want to be able to support you to give you some lift under your wings while you go through this until it gets resolved.
hmm Yeah, I just don't know what it is because it's just um there's a bunch of other stuff going on and I just don't know. I don't know what else. Like usually one person shouldn't be able to handle this much, but I'm not your typical person. I don't think so. Um, it's just a lot.
Yeah, well, they say God will never give you more than you can handle. But
Nah, I don't believe
unfortunately, he's
that.
got too much confidence in you.
Yeah, I don't believe when
Right?
people say that. I'm like, I know plenty of people that couldn't handle what God gave them. So yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just but yeah. But again, just showing up here and listening to everybody's stories and running ideas by and getting inspirations, I think that really makes a difference. So,
Well, the other piece is that we can certainly support you. Um, and you probably, excuse me, my eye is itching. Uh, is this is a good place where you can come and vent. I
mm,
mean, really vent if you'd like to.
thank
But
you.
we want it
I
really.
started with venting initially when I joined the team. I like the progression of not having to vent fully, but kind of more strategically discuss like certain ups and
I
downs.
understand, but if you want some space for that,
Hmm.
we'll create that for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Where you come in and say, okay, I just want to vent. And we'll give you say, okay, you got 5 minutes, let it rip. And you can say and do whatever you want. That'll make a difference for you. It'll really help clean out some of the feelings you have. You know, one
Mm-hmm.
time this is a funny story. As long as it's set and we understand, we make it a safe space.
Mm-hmm.
You can really go as long as you want. But this client, this doctor, this woman, her and her partner, these are two women in relationship, and her partner ran the practice, and she was a doctor. They're down in Phoenix, very nice people, clients of mine. But she had not been. She had always felt like she hadn't been heard, and this came out in the work we were doing. But anyways, one day I got her just right, and she unloaded, right? And she literally, this is a true story. She went for 35 minutes ripping into me. Okay. And I mean, just a total tear, total and complete. I mean, she left her body and it was just fuck you and just let it rip. I mean, it was really, really something. And she got done and was like, wow, I'm sorry. I needed to get that off my chest. And I didn't mean to talk for 5 minutes. And Tina, her partner, and I just started laughing. And we said, Liz, that was 35 minutes. And she was like, no way. We both said, yeah, it was. And, but it felt so good for her to get it out. And it was funny because she apologized to me after. And I said, hey, no, that's what I'm here for. Like it's great. You've always wanted to say that. It didn't bother me. And I mean, and it bothered her so much. They were going on a trip later that week that she called me from the airport and said, I've got to apologize to you again for doing that. And I just laughed. I said, forget it. It's like, I'm so happy you did. How do you feel now? She said, well, I got to tell you, it felt great to get rid of it. So keep that in mind if you want to come in. Are you guys okay with that if Stanford wants to do that?
I won't
I'm all
abuse
good.
that.
Huh?
I won't abuse that privilege.
Ronnie, are you good with it?
Yep, don't mind.
Yeah, if he's structured, yeah. Yeah, it's good. It'll be good for you, you know. In fact, I think that we should make it mandatory next week that you come in and honestly, and you have to go for 5 minutes just ripping it all apart. It would be really good for you.
That's hilarious, but okay.
It really, really, because otherwise it'll eat you alive,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? You know, you know, Jamie was this going for this walk today. He was able to shift himself out of it. If not, I'd be saying the same thing to him. In fact, the offer's there if he wants to take us up on it after he finds out what's going to happen with this money.
No, Stevie already heard it from me.
Oh,
Yeah, and she handled it really good. And I actually went on a walk with her. So, but I did take one walk by myself at first, and then she came, and then yeah, and then she got to hear it a bit. I didn't go too deep, but I don't know. But yeah, she already heard it, and then she
yeah.
really
If you're responsible, it's really good for you,
No, yeah. It's for if you're responsible, yeah. Mm-hmm.
right? It's really good for you. So we're gonna next week make that mandatory that you've got to come in and bitch about it for a minimum of 5 minutes
Mm-hmm.
and just let it rip. Whatever it is, it doesn't matter. Like you have the right to feel that way,
Mm-hmm.
but you don't. The problem is if you don't express it, you sit in it.
Mm-hmm.
Once you express it, you kind of open the valve
Mm-hmm.
and it really relieves a lot of it. And like you've got every right in the world to feel that way. It is, it's not about, oh, you shouldn't, and let's get on our high horse and talk high spirituality here. No, we have to be real about it,
Hmm.
you
I mean,
know.
there's
And
always place for all of it. I think the
Mhm.
spirituality and everything, but it has a place. Um, yeah.
So we'll put you down for at least 5 minutes of it next week.
Oh, yeah, I promise it's not going to be 35.
Well, what you want to do is just let it be whatever it is. That's all. And you just get to say what you think and just curse, swear, whatever it is, just let it out. Because otherwise, um, it eats you from the inside out.
Yep, I agree. I agree.
And I can see that in you. Like
It's not sitting well. It's this whole process is eating away at me in general. It's very disheartening. Um,
Mhm.
it just is, no matter how you slice it. And so it's when you just, I think again, I think I applied to like more than 400 jobs now. So, you know, it's kind of crazy. And like
Yeah.
actively have done stuff. So it's not like, it's just like submit and whatever, like spend time on it, went to different routes, made message different people to different venues. I mean, I just, like you said, you name it, like I did it. So it's just very tough. It's very tough, especially when so many things are really at stake, because of this. So, um, but yeah, I mean, it's figure it out somehow. Yeah. So thank you. Yeah, next week I will see what I can do.
Yeah, we'll give you some space to do that. Jamie, do you have any feedback on it?
Um, see, I just feel like there's something um gratifying about doing something that you thought might be easier, and then once you've like gone so deep into it and have been, beating at it for so long, um, doing it over and over again to the point you would get a little dumbfounded. I know that feeling for things,
Hmm.
but there's also like this kind of ridiculous gratification to it, as well, that you've like kind of earned with yourself for just
Hmm.
the persistence and all that. And I would like leverage that. So, when you get to the point where something's so crazy that you just start laughing, and you
Oh,
and
it's
it,
on a daily basis. I think
yeah,
crazy in the shower. So,
yeah, and I think that's the point where you can go, wow, there's something bigger here. There's something that's not working, and that's the point where your mind expands. And yeah, I get it. I get it. I've been there at the point where you're like, I don't know anymore. Like, well, I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know what's going on. Like, I don't know what to say. And I think you get to a point where you just let go.
hmm.
And maybe that's where you're about to be, and then
It's
something
funny.
different or something way better just happens to just manifest right in front of you.
The weird thing is I don't really even have questions what's wrong with me. That's a big development from like back in the day. I don't really question that. It's more of like I know it's the times, I know it's the what's happening in the market. I know I think everybody is exhausted of everything. It's just the times and some luck and situations and whatnot. And because I know I'm qualified. This isn't even a question. Because I even have some friends um, that are even more qualified than I am in many ways, and they can't even find anything. And so that already tells me that it's not just me. But the bigger thing is more of like, um, okay, so it's not me, but what do I do with that, you know? And so far, my response to not me was start my own business thing, you know, start the school thing, try to figure some other things out, be more creative, you know, do the cookbook thing that I'm slowly but surely doing. Like it's more adaptation than like a typical person would go for, and I really value that, but it still doesn't ultimately for now fix the realities that are coming quicker and quicker of like, well, what do I do? Since there's, you know, it's not like I have millions of dollars lying around. You know, I have to generate revenue somehow that would be sustainable enough. And so it's just it's weird. It's a very weird stage in life where yeah, I can grab that edification of I've adapted in a different way and I'm not broken down because of it, but it is weighing on me um quite a bit. So, but I fully get what you're saying. No.
Yeah. Um, and be aware of the outer stuff that you're excusing for your situation.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, like market, other people with the same issues. This is kind of how it is now, that type of language.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just gonna call that out
Mm-hmm.
because when I hear that stuff, just to be honest, is really easy ways to keep you where you're at and stuck. Um,
Well, only it's
yeah.
only going to keep me stuck if I'm not doing anything. That's the difference. Because otherwise, I mean, again, I see others give up and saying like,
Sometimes doing nothing though and changing a belief system is the answer. And doing the same thing over and over again, but with the same belief system of, well, I'm gonna go try this again. I know the market's hard. I know this is, but those stories don't support, they're kind of
mm,
excuses to like pat yourself on the back and go, well, hey, the economy sucks, so yeah, but I'll keep applying and see what happens. But it's the economy, you know what I'm saying? And I'm just
That's
this is the
well,
the
best
what else
energy.
that's
is
the
Yeah.
there?
best thing I
I
can tell
mean,
you.
it's
Honestly, it might not be the thing you want to hear, but I know what it's like to be in both, and
mhm.
someone tell me that, just the honest truth, like watch where your language is and the things you're telling yourself to excuse your situation.
I don't know
That's
if it's
great
an excuse.
feedback.
It's just the reality. I mean, it's literally actual facts. If I
It
was in
is,
a
that
frame of
isn't the
mind
point.
about it, I would
Yeah.
be
But
different. But
yeah,
it's literally
but
fact.
that's not the point, Stanford.
Hmm. What's the point?
The
I mean,
point,
I think I get the
the
point, but I just what I'm saying is that it's not just a belief. Belief isn't like, I don't know, Santa Claus is a belief. This isn't a belief. This is literally factual stuff that's happening to me and other
I
people.
understand, but it's not something that supports what you're going to accomplish.
Okay.
And you want to just speak to the things that are going to support what you're going to accomplish. That's your talent, that's your value, that's what you're doing with the school community. I'm
Hmm.
doing this, I'm doing that, I'm doing that. I'm not participating in the fact that whatever's going on out there, what I'm participating in and who I am and what I'm going to create.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
fuck everything else. Like you
I
don't
mean,
even
that's pretty much what
speak
I'm
it.
doing anyways.
Yeah, but you don't even speak it.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't go have a coffee with your friend and talk about the shitty economy. Like that's what I mean. Even if
Got it.
I mean it can be that if you want. If you want to watch the news, the economy's shitty. If you don't watch the news, it isn't because it doesn't exist. And your time is so valuable to what you're focused on. Your focus is so valuable. That's all I'm saying. Make it
Mm,
your
I get
world.
it.
Make it what it is. Yeah. Don't,
You know,
yeah. Don't participate in the things that excuse your situation for you. Because those are excuses for your situation. That's what they are. That's what, I can make a list of 1,000 of them if you want to. But what does that do for you? You know?
right. Let me give you an example of this that just happened to me, Stanford.
Hmm.
I when I got to Vermont, one of the things I was committed to was not being isolated.
Hmm.
I checked out a couple of co-working spaces, one of which was the Vermont Center for Emerging Technologies, and another place called Hula, Hula. And I really liked online everything that the Vermont Center for Emerging Technologies had. I was like, that's cool. Like I like the energy, the whole thing of it. And I was committed not to be stuck in my house working isolated here in Vermont, that I'm going to get out every day. I feel that's very important for me. So anyway, I go down to see the Vermont Center for Emerging Technologies, and it ends up there's road construction all around there, right? There's no place to park. And I go in the door, and the door is locked, and it ends up I've got to make an appointment. Somebody's got to meet me at the door. It's all this other horseshit. So I was like, well, that sucks. I'm not going to do that. Like that just didn't work for me. Plus the parking situation, the road construction is going to be going on all summer while I'm here. I'll go down to Hula. So I go down to Hula and go in there, and Hula's gorgeous, but I am so intimidated. I am in, this is the truth. This was a week ago. I am in sensory overload in this place. All these different people working, a co-working space, you know, and I would, in fact, my sister, when I was there, sent me a text and said, let's have lunch tomorrow. I was like, great. And she didn't know I was there, but she said, let's have lunch at Hula, because they actually have a restaurant there. And I sent back, I said, I'm at Hula now, and I can't have lunch here tomorrow. This is just too overwhelming for me.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I left. I said, we'll figure a place to eat. And I left, you know, and I came back and I sat down, and it was like, okay, what's really going on with you and Hula? And it's like, you have to pull your shit together. You have to go in there to work. I have to go in and learn why it's overwhelming to me. I have to learn why it put me on sensory overload. I have to learn about these things that really bothered me. So I did. I went back the next day and joined. In fact, I even got a hold of my sister and we had lunch there.
Nice.
Right. And I'm going through that this week. And I'm really learning about me. And this is, you know, they've got 1,200 members. Okay. Like this is a big place. There's people that have offices there. There's a lot of co-working there. In fact, today I went in and they had some conference there. This place was so fucking crowded. There's two buildings that I had to go hide out over in the second building. And I just stayed there and did my work. And they have some good pods where I was able to do some interviews and things, Zoom meetings that I had. But then I left early. I said, I got to get out of here because I'm now back home to do this meeting and the one I had before this. But it's more about, it's like, Bill, you need to find and grab a hold of your strength and go in here and let my strength shine in this situation that I'm not comfortable in, because I'm still not comfortable there. So it's a matter of just overcoming it and of me learning more about me and staying really positive. Me staying really positive with it so that I can learn more. I can have greater appreciation. There's a number of things that I like about it. However, everybody walks around with their head down. I want to say hi to people, meet people. It's difficult it's been difficult to meet people. I don't know. I'll see. I'll let you know by the end of the summer because I'm staying there all summer, right? But I'm going to take a positive attitude for me
Mm-hmm.
and move through this and come out of the other side of it with the lessons I'm supposed to learn. I'm not going to, I mean, even today, they have it set up on our phones. When I go to a door, I put my phone up to the door and it unlocks the doors.
Mm-hmm.
And they're open 24/7, right? So as long as I have my Bluetooth on, it'll open the door,
Those
front
are
door
fun
for me.
systems.
But they had so many people there today that I had to do a Zoom call, and they have these little pods you can go in. You go in and shut the door, they're soundproof, and you can do your Zoom calls in there. They've got them all throughout. I mean, this place is like 20,000 square feet. It's big. And so I go out. They got all the fucking doors locked because I didn't have my phone with me, and I'm stuck outside, and I had to get in to start a meet. It was nuts, right? It was, and I ended it. Then I had to go back to the other building and hang out outside the front door, where there weren't many people in the second building coming out, and wait for somebody to come over. Some guy comes out, and I go in. I get through the first door, but the second door is locked too. So now I'm standing in the vestibule. Finally, some people came and I got in. So I'm just learning these things, but but I'm going through them with a positive attitude. I'm finding gratitude in it, um, and It'll be interesting to see what my position is on all of it by the end of the year, end of the summer when I leave, at the end of September. But it's a very similar situation, you know, and it's like, oh, this isn't what I want, you know. So anyway, but it's that same thing of, you know, I can sit in there and all these shit and this and that they're disturbed, and I can find people walking around with their dogs. I mean, there's all kinds of crazy shit that I could complain about with it. But I'm not going there. I'm going to use it in a positive way and just see what I learn from it, and just, you know, live with my choice, live where I'm at. So it's somewhat, you know, somewhat similar. It happens on a lot of different levels, a lot of different ways. What did you hear from that means anything to you?
No, I understand that. It's just the mindset change needs to happen. And sometimes even getting out of your comfort zone makes a big difference. Which,
Hmm.
I think in my case, haven't been in my comfort zone for a long time. So I don't think I'm in that danger. It's just being able to handle everything that's coming at me is more of a thing. But that's a good example
And
though.
and how amazing that prior to this happening, your new partner came along.
Oh yeah, that's huge. That's
You know,
it's actually out of all everything, it's kind of
yeah.
hand.
I mean, just hanging the gratitude of that. Like,
Mm-hmm.
wow, that's incredible,
Mm-hmm. It really is.
and it's real, right?
Oh yeah.
It's like, you know, and I know it's real
Mm-hmm.
because we've had many conversations around that. You
Mm-hmm.
know, it isn't, you know, you just hanging out in something to
No.
get through and avoid your pain. What you've got is some real support there, real love,
Mm-hmm.
and somebody that's going to walk through it with you. And but you should be tremendously grateful for that.
I really am. Yeah, it's a big deal.
Yeah, it is.
It's a big deal. Yeah, without this support, it would have been really, really difficult to say the least. So,
Hmm. Yeah, you know, stay focused on that. Make sure you let them know that.
oh, I do that every day.
Hmm. Good. So important. So important. You know, you remember Ronnie's, I guess, listening in, but before Ronnie went through when he was looking for work, he had that girlfriend that we all caught on him about, you know, and he ended up getting rid of her, and he went through all of that alone, you know, and he had other lessons to learn as he was doing that. Um, and in your case, what you had gone through with your previous partner that you lost, to be able to create this new one is incredible.
Yeah, it really is. That's one thing I'm really thankful for. Yeah.
You know, yeah, hang out in that gratitude for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Ronnie, come on back in.
Yeah, sorry, just watching these my niece and nephew.
You
Hello?
babysitting?
Somewhat, yeah.
Uh-huh. Good. What takeaways you got today, Ronnie?
Um, just the notion that we're all gonna go through things, I guess we all go through things. And to just keep in mind that to stay detached, like I've been reading a lot of books. One guy I've been listening to a lot, his name is Jason Wilson, and he just goes back to explaining that we're more than our jobs, our titles, and any physical thing we can think of. And I think back to my mom. I remember my mom was sick with cancer, uh, basically like 2 months away from passing away, struggling with bills, name it, And every time I would ask her, Mom, how you doing? And she'd be like, so good, she'd be like extremely good. And I always keep that in mind that like, happiness is not based on anything but within, you know? So that kind of keeps me going. So yeah, today my takeaway is just to detach from any outcome or things that we may have or want.
And what are a couple things you've got in your life that you're grateful for?
My health, my family, my brothers, my niece and nephews, my room, my peace, doing what I love, freedom, um, access to go to the gym. Yes, Brooklyn. Okay, we will clean the pool. Yeah, so many things.
Cool.
And you, and all you guys. Every Thursday, you have 4.
Yeah. Ronnie, oh, what's your name, honey?
Say hi. What's your name? Brooklyn.
Brooklyn?
Yeah, I see the books.
Hi. What a cutie. That's good, Ronnie. But next week on your gratitude list, we want to be at the top, man.
Okay.
Put Stanford first.
For sure.
He needs a boost.
Yeah, we got you, Stanford.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
After we let him have his bitching session next week. And that's going to be important for you, Stanford.
Okay.
We're going to hold you to it. You just come on and just say whatever. You say it, we wash it away, we move on. There'll be no comments on it.
Mhm.
You just get to do it. It's important. You might even do some journaling around it before next week, just to like get dialed in,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
And then let it rip. It'll be good for you.
Yeah, I
Definitely
think
good
that's a
for
good
you.
idea.
Jamie, takeaways for you.
Yeah, for me, it was what you said about like your attitude towards the space that you're have to actually make effort to adapt to. And it just really hit me so hard how powerful that is. Like if you apply that energy to the things that are irritating you or that you're uncomfortable with, or like the situation I'm in right now, if I were to just almost, it feels a little crazy, but even if I just looked at it like in with gratitude and said, let's go, this is a good thing, let's see what happens, let me get clear on it. As crazy as that might sound, like it is so, it's like, yeah, at that point it's a good thing. I mean, if I make it a good thing, then it just is a good thing, and then I'm that closer to seeing what's going to come out of it. And why not just be happy? If that's a choice
Mm-hmm.
that can be made
Mm-hmm.
with dealing with the uncomfortableness of things. So yeah, that was it. It's just about taking that perspective and initiative is it's tough to do. It takes work and effort, but when you do it, you're gonna reap so much, and you're just gonna be happy too at the end of the day, for the
Mm-hmm.
majority of the time, you know,
Yeah.
because that's all
Yeah.
I'm trying
Sorry,
to get out of this, anyways. It's just more freedom, more happiness. So It's kind of been realizing it's a choice more than it is reliant on these jobs and money and all that stuff, you know?
Yeah, that stuff's always going to come and go.
Yeah.
Gosh, what did I do with that? Stanford takeaways.
Um, just that I don't know. Actually, I think Jamie's story today was really, really good, just because it shows me kind of you can go through ups and downs and still kind of stay sane and choose to stay sane, I mean. And it works. So, and it kind of also makes me not feel a bit alone with like all the crap that's hitting me. And no, it doesn't make me feel better per se, because I don't usually feel that way if something like bad happens to somebody. But it's just like I wish actually things would work out for you, Jamie, like without, more issues. So, but yeah, it's just a kind of, I guess that's a weird way of saying it. There's a takeaway from that.
Uh-huh. I want to show you something.
Yeah, I want to say
You know
Stanford.
this.
I felt the same way about your situation too, for me. When you're like, oh, I got denied. I'm like, I'm like, man, it's just something about that was like, you know, when you're kind of have taken a blow, it's a little easier to say, oh, okay, this is like we're all human, you know? Like this
Mm-hmm.
is just no one's
Mm-hmm.
special here. Let's just it's just all we're in it together. Let's support it and feel more supportive. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's not an eye for
absolutely.
an eye. It's
Oh, no,
not,
not at
yeah.
all.
No, no.
Yeah, not
It's
at
more
all.
just the support that feels okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not the only one dealing with some stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to show you something. Come on. It's the writing things down. You should see the list of things that I'm writing down. That's what I want to show you. And I just emailed it to myself, but let me try a different way. Give me 1 second here. I'm moving as fast as I can. Oh, let me do it that way. See if I just send it to myself here. Sometimes technology, I can be a real klutz.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been playing with the morning affirmations, writing these things out. And boy, I've got so many different things. Okay. Yay, here it is. Okay. Let me share my screen. They're all so good, I decided, just do them all. Um, some of the things that AI has given me these are talking about me, about my empowerment through choice, my value of freedom, my energetic sensitivity and intuition. I read through these: natural leadership, appreciation for tools and innovation, focus on mental and thought transformation, clarity, conceptualization. These are from my divine gifts and my life lessons. And then these are the things I write out here. But the main one, and then here's some additional takeaways just from that information. I go through these every morning, like I'm in the process of creating. I mean, it still goes on, but here it is right here. This morning, I awakened with a deep trust in the spirit working through me, a powerful catalyst for creation. I embrace the freedom to choose my path, feeling the vibrant energy of manifestation flowing through every action I take. Harmony, balance, and beauty guide my steps as I witness my intentions unfolding with ease and grace. I celebrate the reality of I'm debt free, creating more wealth every day. My new book is written and ready to inspire. Peak Potential Blueprint is now powerfully selling and transforming lives. My private Facebook group, which I've just started, you all got a link for that, is thriving with over 1,000 engaged individuals. Exciting speaking opportunities continue to unfold, allowing my message to reach many. My corporate training programs are established and are delivering impactful results. My schedule is full. 10 new aligned executive clients joyfully integrated into my work and coaching. I am empowered. I'm a natural leader, and I move forward with momentum, knowing that my intentions are being fulfilled now. It's time to create even more expansive intentions as I embrace this day with gratitude and joyful anticipation. And then I have another one down here, and then I have all the power words down here. So I'm giving it the 1, 2, 3, 4 punch. What'd you think of that?
I think it's great. Yeah. And like mine's been very financial focused, and I need to now take it to the next level that has the reasons why behind having this deeper level of understanding beyond
Yeah.
just that those surface numbers. Because it's like life, like, yeah, I've like seen how effective that is and that I'm accomplishing and all that, but I forget about the support system below that if that stuff is fleeting at times, and how you're
It's
gonna
all about the support system.
handle that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Even some of the bottom ones in here, I'm a powerful magnet for ideal coaching clients. Every day I attract individuals who are eager for my guidance and ready to create transformative change in their lives. I trust my unique abilities and the value I offer, and I joyfully welcome a steady flow of aligned coach clients into my coaching practice. Here's one on gratitude. So I got the energy shotgun loaded here. I'm blasting it. These are the power words. Where's the one? Where was it? Yeah. On gratitude. I open my heart this moment, overflowing with gratitude for the abundant blessings in my life. I'm deeply thankful for the unwavering presence of spirit working through me, guiding my choices and creating experiences filled with learning and growth. I appreciate the freedom to shape my reality and the powerful energy of manifestation that brings my intentions to fruition. I am grateful for the harmony, balance, and beauty that surround me, and for the opportunity to lead and inspire others with authenticity and wisdom. I give thanks for the lessons in every circumstance, the connections I share, and the continuing unfolding of my highest potential. My heart is full. I'll send that to you guys. You can all use it. Comments? What do you think, Stanford?
I think that's great. I think it's a good idea. I did something similar, but it's a bit different in a sense that I wrote an email to myself and scheduled it to be sent in a certain period of time with a bunch of my kind of affirmations and goals and everything, so that when I get it, you know, it'll kind of give me a reminder of what I've either planned or what has been achieved or something else.
Mm-hmm. Well, that first one I did, I write that out. I handwrite that every morning. I literally handwrite it. I bring it into creation. That one on gratitude is pretty good, though. I'll send you
Mhm.
guys. I'll send you an email with it. You can use it. It's just, you know, it's good to have that to fall back on. And it's also good, as Jamie mentioned, um, to recognize how he can take what he's done to see he's got his out there. I can see he's been writing them down. How you can take it to an even higher level, a higher vibration. Hold your notebook up to the camera. I can, yeah. You can
Yeah,
start
there's the
writing about,
same words every day.
yep, how
One
easy
side's
it's,
like, well, you can't. Side's just
yeah. You can start writing, add to that how easy it's going to be to get this situation resolved with Stripe. Just bring it into happening. I'll email that one on gratitude to you guys, though. It's pretty good. All righty. Everybody have a good week. Do some journaling on that, Stanford. So next week we're gonna have you just come in and talk about those motherfuckers. I want you to rip. I want you to really like just get rid of, just you speak it out. The more you speak it out, the more you release the energy.
Bye, everyone.
See you, Ronnie. Have a good
Ronnie.
week.
Thank
Everybody
you.
have a good week.
Bye.
Love you. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.
See you, Stanford and Jamie.